What is up, y'all? Welcome back to S10 Blazer, and welcome if you're new. This is episode 1 of the Blazer swap. That's right. This is our redneck GMC Typhoon. And so as you can see, I've already got a couple things done on it, but nothing major is really done yet. So let me show y'all exactly what I've done to this thing so far so that y'all can get a grasp on where I'm at, because I've still got a lot of stuff to do. So here we have it. This is our Blazer that we're swapping. And man, this thing's ratty. So, you know, it's got some weight reduction, you know, on the corners. So hopefully that'll just make us go faster. You know what I mean? It's also got a sick spoiler on here for extra downforce when you're going off-road in this thing. So another little weight reduction spot. And I've already got the floorboard cut out of this thing. Let me show y'all why. So I've actually already set the motor in on some Dirty Dingo mounts. I had to pull the big AC box off the firewall because it wouldn't fit with this. So I think what we're gonna end up doing is going vintage air. I've cleared out a bunch of things. I've gotten rid of all the junk. Somebody had already cut this frame and put a body lift on this thing. It had these big old pucks on it. It's pretty crazy. But, you know, I've done some cleaning up on this thing. It's not perfect, but I've still got to paint that after I clean it up. But I put this motor in here so I can kind of see how everything's going to run. This isn't even the correct pan I'm going to run. This is one of those knockoff muscle car ones from eBay, and it's hitting on the diff down there. Oh, yeah, and I said diff. So this thing was originally 4x4, and I put an Astrovan all-wheel drive front diff in it in place of the 4x4 one so that we can make this thing a modern-day redneck Typhoon. Let me tell you a little bit about the motor. It's a Gen 3 LS block, but it's got a 408 rotating assembly in it, 408 stroker, and then it's got some ported heads on her, some hand-ported heads on her with some dual springs. So this thing should get down. I've had to do some cutting here to try to make this transmission fit. As you can see over here, this transmission has been a pain to try to fit. It is a big old all-wheel drive Escalade 6L80E. Man, that's a big transmission. So the way that the bell housing kind of comes up to the back of the motor is it's steep. I've got to make room for it. So what I'm actually about to do is to start pulling the interior out of this thing so that I can make my final cut, because I couldn't even get high enough up here without hitting all the AC components. So we're going to get rid of all that, all the stuff behind the dash, the heater core, all that, and we're going to end up just going with vintage air. Who doesn't love some good old vintage air, you know? So this is our setup right now. This dash is pretty destroyed. Pretty much every clip is probably already broken. I guess you can blame Joey, because this is Joey's 4x4. Oh, thank you. Anyways, so I'm gonna get most of this dash up out of here because we're gonna end up putting Dakota Digitals in this thing as well, and then putting the new pad on it just for a little bit better aesthetics on it. You know, probably leave the outside looking ratty, but we'll end up probably reupholstering the inside and doing all that. So let's get started. Let's go ahead and start getting this dash up out of this thing so that we can make room for those Dakota Digitals and that vintage air. All right, so first step's gonna be to take your screws out. Oh, never mind, they're all broken. Oh, nice. So I guess you don't have to take your screws out of everything in this truck because it's just falling apart. All right. Anybody want one? Might save one. Ooh, a little toothpick in there too. I'll save one for one of y'all that wants it. Well, I'm not gonna watch no YouTube how-to on how to take this dash apart. I'm just gonna start unscrewing everything and see what happens. All right. One piece at a time. What we got? What we got? Take that screw out. All right. Let's see if I can Fred Flintstone down here without getting tetanus. And then pull this joker out. Oh yeah, I gotta get that little cable. There we go. These are pretty cool gauges. They did cool stuff back in the 80s. You see them. Wish they did stuff like that nowadays. Like retro. I like that. It's pretty cool. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and pull these couple steering column bolts up out of this thing now. Well, Chevy, you give me that 15 millimeter. Will you give me the 15 millimeter? Will you give it for me? Will you get it for me? Okay, thank you. Go get it for me. Thank you. Oh, thank you, girl. All right, we're gonna get that thing up out of there now. All right, got this thing hanging down now. Should be able to get to a few more of the bolts. That's my girl. All right. This dash has got some wiggle room now all over it. So, looks like we've almost got all the bolts out of it. All right, well, I think it's safe to say got all the bolts out of it. So, she's just hanging here now. And I've just been back here pulling that heater core out of this thing. Got it over here. So, I think I'm getting allergies working in this thing. It is disgusting. But as you can see, I've got to pull some of this insulation. I'm just gonna go ahead and pull this insulation up out of this thing and have to cut that trans tunnel that I've made a little bit more. Obviously, I'm gonna get it covered up. You know, it's not gonna be open like that, but I've got to cut it a little bit more so that I can fit that transmission up in there because it's still hitting all over the tunnel. All right, so we got the good old dash up out of this thing. Wires laying everywhere and nasty residue on my hands from the tape. But she's up out of there. There's our dash right here. My customer says he's gonna take it and repair it. Instead of us just replacing it, he wants to repair it. So I guess he's gonna fiberglass it, Bondo it, whatnot, and make this thing look good, I guess. Well, I'm sure anything will be better than what it looks like now. So he's gonna come pick it up tomorrow and he's gonna take it and get it done. So what I've got to do is get up under here now and pull all these nasty old fuel lines out of this thing that are caked in rust. And I mean, it's gonna be fun, but gotta do what we gotta do. Oh, and if you thought we were gonna reuse our gas tank, we are not. This thing is gross. So I just went ahead and ordered them a new one so that we can just run all new lines and stuff to it. Probably do a Walbro 450 in tank up to either a vet regulator or a Summit Racing regulator, and then run it up to that nice 408 stroker we got up there. All right, so that was Friday when I left y'all off pulling the fuel lines and stuff. So I've got these lines up out of this thing now. They were pretty disgusting. Had rust all over my face. No, that's not what's going on. I just got a little sunburn this weekend, but it's Monday now, so we got some packages in. So I got some of these Hooker S10 Blazer swap headers from Holly. Or I'd say swap manifolds. They're not really like headers, but kinda. And then I've got a whole ICT billet front drive for this thing with AC. I think I've got part of the fuel system in here. The rest of it should be in this week. So our new tank, our lines, the Walbro might be in there. I'm gonna open it up and see, but basically I wanted to at least be able to put this header in here so that I could see if I'm gonna be able to run this swap harness through this hole, or if I'm just gonna have to run it through here and make a plate, with a hole in it. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that header on this side so that I can see if I think it's gonna be safe enough to run right there. Just gonna put a couple used bolts in it for now, and no gasket, just for mock-up here. That ain't too bad for fitment. I think it clears pretty good. Oh yeah. How easy are those spark plugs? All good angles? Oh, not bad. And then just a little bit of clearance back there. I mean, they know what they were doing with the angles there. So now about that. I don't want to wrap this header because then I might just cause rust problems with it. But maybe if I wrap the harness right there and then right here and then came up and then over. So I might be able to tie it to the firewall right here. I guess we're gonna see, huh? But I mean, it looks like I'll be able to use that hole. Yeah, it is pretty close, but I think it'll be okay. All right, folks, so I went ahead and unboxed a few other things here. We've got our Walbro 450 right here. And then we've got a new fuel pump assembly here. Here's the original one over here. It's just pretty nasty and crusty and corroded, so I just went ahead and ordered a new one. So looks like we've got the exact same height right here. Ordered this Dorman from Summit. So got this Dorman assembly, and basically we're just gonna put this Walbro into here, and we'll have a Walbro in our factory assembly here. So let's show y'all how this is gonna go. Here's our new one, here's our old one. As you can see, it's all nice and shiny. Went ahead and just wired in the Walbro connector, and then there's our pump sitting on the base. Kind of bent it a little bit, but should still fit in there good. But as you can see, a little bit bigger sock here, so should work pretty good. Our new tank will be here in a couple days, so I just wanted to go ahead and get this thing ready to be dropped in. So I just wanted to show you all the size difference here between a stock Blazer pump and a Walbro 450. And this should definitely support our goals on this truck. So went ahead and put the other header on. Y'all can see also I've got the rocker arms on now. Went ahead and did a trunnion upgrade on those. And I put a timing cover on as well. So what I'm gonna do now, I've opened up our boxes here, and I've got a complete ICT billet front drive here. So I'm gonna go ahead and install this front drive so that we can see what it's gonna look like on this motor. Only thing left to actually pull this motor out for is to put the new oil pan on, but that's ordered right now. I don't have it yet. But I wanna go ahead and put the front drive together so that I can see how everything's gonna fit with the Corvette fitment. So here we go. electric Holley valve covers on now. If I can do this without dropping the gasket. There we go. Make sure I didn't. Yeah, we're all good there. So I'm gonna put these on now, and then I'm gonna see just how well these coil packs are gonna fit, especially on this side. I haven't put the gasket over here yet, but I already had to lay the alternator over because it was really close to this bolt spot right here. And also this looks like it's gonna be pretty close too. So if I gotta trim the coil pack, I will, but I would like to run these valve covers because we've already purchased them and they're pretty sick. So yeah, let me get this on. I'll get that gasket on. We'll see how these coil packs fit. If I pull this bolt out that mounts the alternator and slide it over, obviously I have enough room now, but what I'm utilizing right now is this bottom bolt instead of this top bolt. The top bolt's for the Corvette alternators, so I might have to switch over to a Vette alternator. This is just me guessing here. If it was lined up right there, I'd have a little bit more room, versus if I move it over here, I have no room. So I can do some brainstorming on that, see what I can come up with. But man, other than that, this thing looks pretty nice. Looks nice with the valve covers on there. Got the LS3 intake just kind of set down on there right now. And I've got a firewall grommet plate coming for that right now. And then along with, I've got a complete plate for the AC and heater core block off. So, but these valve covers look pretty sick. Yeah, so check that out. No, I didn't show installing it, but this is our eBay firewall plate. This thing was $100 on eBay. Pretty good price. And also, if you look down here, I've got my grommet under it for the firewall, so that, you know, it's a little loose, but pretty much this thing becomes waterproof at that point. So that's nice. I've got to pull that harness in there quite a bit more because I don't need that much harness. And then I've actually got the oil pan that's going to show up this week as well. Pull this motor back out, swap the oil pan out, and actually I had to do a little bit more cutting here to make this transmission fit. So once I swap that pan out, we're going to go ahead and put that transmission in there, and then we'll really get to finishing this thing up. Painted that firewall plate up a little bit. I'm going to hit it with another coat, but we're looking good here. I went ahead and laid the harness over a bit and installed the power steering pulley so I could put that belt on, make sure it fit. If we go under here, I have the transmission in now. So I pulled the motor out, bolted this thing up, put the new converter in. We've got an FTI converter in there, and let me show y'all our new oil pan as well. So if you look under here, you can see that the pan is clearanced for the front diff, which is pretty cool. Shout out to John Schmidt on Facebook. He makes these for these S10s, so appreciate him offering that service. So now what we're going to be doing is buying a custom cross member so that we can mount that transmission. So there we have it. That pretty much finishes up this episode. I've got quite a bit more stuff to do, but as you can see, we're headed pretty close to the finish line here. We've got our new tank set up here with the AN lines on it. So we'll be ready to go to put this fuel system in this thing as well. So catch y'all on the next episode, but I'm glad I was able to put out a YouTube video for y'all. It's been a minute. We're gonna be working on some stuff real soon on the channel. As you can see, I got the V ready to go. Man, here's a little sneak peek for y'all. I got a nice little motor for it. We're gonna be throwing that in here, and I don't know which episode's gonna come first, the Blazer or the V, because very soon, within the next few days, we're gonna be getting this V together and ripping this thing again. I'm so excited to start making content for this thing again. But yeah, thank y'all for watching. We are almost at 20,000 subscribers, which is actually insane. It's been such a long road to get there, obviously because I'm not posting enough, but man, like I've been grinding. I've been trying really hard get these videos out for y'all. But, you know, it's hard trying to balance life and YouTube and stuff, but I'm not going to sit here and complain. Make sure y'all follow me on Instagram at JackStanBuilds, and I'll check you guys on episode 2 of this thing. See y'all later. Peace!